How did the river help? The sites along the way, no? And be sure to keep your groups together, so that walang maiiwan. Saan na siya naiiwan sa Escolta. So, ingatan mo na. Also, in terms of taking pictures, you may do so. Take pictures, take photograph, no? However, may restricted area in the Pasig River. There's a portion where you're not allowed to take photos due to the security protocols of the Malacanang Palace. So, upon seeing the station of the Coast Guard, the ferry passes that area, after it gets to the bridge, you're not allowed to take photos. You may use your phone, not to take photos. You may do so again past PUP station. For today, these days, PUP station is closed. So, by just passing from one of the bends of the Pasig River, that's the PUP area. Before in a railway bridge. I don't know if you'll see the trains because they're closed for 5 years. But there's a railway bridge over there. That's the area where you could take photos again. So, you can take photos up to in their case, up to Santa Ana. Yes, upon arrival at Santa Ana, we'll hit the church first. Why? Apparently, the church has a 12 o'clock break. 12 o'clock, the church closes itself. So, and it's one of the major, not the major attraction in Santa Ana. Go to the church, and then later, only then we can explore the areas immediately outside of it, ending at, instead of Plaza Mugo, at Plaza Calderon, no, which will bring you closer to the ferry station. For this morning is the Pasig River. Pasig, no, believed theory is that it comes from pasil, or as an Indian word which means sand. No? There are Filipino words which has Pasig, like dalampasigan, no? Referring to the shore. Should they refer to the silty area due to the Pasig the deposits from the San Mateo River, the Marikina River? We're not sure. Yeah. That bridge is the Puente Grande, built in 1630. It used to stand where that street is passing through. So that's the area of the bridge. It's been full of international ships, Chinese vessels, no? As well as local shipping to bring cargo to different parts of the Philippines, inland to Laguna, inland to Morong, this now Rizal. And this was a very busy area. And that's the reason why this area, Escolta, would develop into the prime business address of Manila because of the ports. Those the ports that gave birth to these areas and develop them further. Then sell it straight to Escolta. Sell. Walking portion. Alright. No worries, do a quick tour of the area at the same time. Cross to the other side, no? See that area quickly. Never seen that. May not look much now, but this used to be the prime business address in Manila. To the point that Americans call it Manila's Main Street, no? Or the heart of Manila's downtown area. Calle Escolta, or officially in the Spanish version, Calle de la Escolta. This is a picture of the area during the end of the 1800s and the early 1900s. This is this building. It looks new because in the 1960s, its exterior was modernized. It's the first reinforced concrete building in the Philippines. Because Escolta, aside from offices and some embassies, Escolta had lots of tailors, where you could also have shoes and hats and belts made. So this was a Capitol Theater, designed by national artists for architecture, the first actually, Juan Lapin. The architectural style was Romantic patterns. People, Manila has actually lots of art deco. It ranged from the more traditional. There was a post in I think it was in Twitter, where Tropical Hut became viral. This is that branch. It was posted by one of our friends who we frequently see here during our tours. No? That image on top of each arch window, there's a face in it. And there are also details there, no? Top of the building. That used to be the upper floor. topmost floor was added in the 1950s after the war. No? So the Calvo building was built in 1938. Its architect was the same architect who built or designed the Manila Cathedral today, Nando Campo, and the Cathedral of San Fernando in Macpan. Started, there's actually a small exhibit about them here. And then, 2 minutes, no? Named Luisas, and you could see an event there in those photos. Those were taken on top of the buildings, and you could see the neon signs of the other establishment nearby. Moraga. It's named after a Franciscan priest who, in the 1600s, convinced King Philip III to keep the Philippines. We contrast no? And this was designed during the space age, the 1960s. So if you look at it later, if you go across the street, you'll see it's shaped like a half-flying saucer. It's round shape. It's designed by Jose Maria Zaragoza. Corner tower is where the staircase or other portions of the building is. And when this was built, that dome had several clocks beneath it. So it was one of Manila's major clock towers. Before Manila City Hall, you looked at time here at the Huichaco building at downtown Manila. Okay, it had 8 clocks. So there's always a clock facing you whenever you're around. Eventually, it was overshadowed by bigger buildings. Mariano Huichaco. In Paredes Street. And that heads to Divisoria. Hey, Divisoria. Cheap shopping, things like that. But this is the cosmopolitan area. That leads to the more Chinese part of Pinoy. So from this area, we'll proceed to another portion, closer to the river again, no? Jones Bridge. We'll discuss it here so you could appreciate it. This is a picture of Jones Bridge before. No? This was the original Jones Bridge. Is this not original? Well, yes, it's a new building. The Puente de España that used to stand in that area was damaged in a flood. It's known as the Great Flood of Manila of 1914. The area around PGH was submerged. The entire Taft Avenue was impassable. So look at that. Nothing changed. So it's flooded. And the center piers of the bridge was destroyed. So that necessitated, at least for the Americans, we need to build a new bridge. Because this is one of the basic crossings in the river. So they decided to build one, not on the spot of the bridge, because that would necessitate demolishing it and not having a crossing here. So they kept the bridge alive, they replaced the center span, and they built here in Plaza Moraga. Bridge, the lamps weren't as grand, no? They're simple because you focus your eyes on the sculptural elements of the bridge. And on both ends of the bridge, there were pairs, so this one, no? The Madre sculpture. They're sculpture of women representing the motherland.
Beautiful ladies.
Plaza Cervantes area. Go to other countries, this riverside area is usually developed for tourism.
Pa-photo naman.
So with that, let's just have our photo here and then let's go back. So at least nasulit naman kayo, nasa Ermita kayo ngayon. No? For those who crossed there, ano naman yung bonus?
po, tigil.
Okay. And it crosses an island, Isla de Convalescencia. This is actually the only island in the middle of the Pasig River. Then across you have Malacanang Gardens, which is where the house of the president is today. Bahay Pangarap or Bahay Pangulo kung tawagin nila. Bridge, then Escolta, at Kim, then Santa Ana. So this is Santa Ana itself. The church is just over there. That's our target. That's our immediate target because bagamat hindi natutulog ang Diyos, nagpapahinga yung simbahan lunch time. No? Okay. So now we're in Santa Ana. We'll discuss more about it later. But what was Santa Ana before? I mentioned earlier it was a separate town. No? And basically that town included Mandaluyong, Makati, Sampaloc. So it's a big town. Gradually it became smaller as the different areas became independent parishes and towns. And Santa Ana was the vacation spot, the provincial retreat of Manila. Imagine. We are now at the heart of the district of Santa Ana. And because Santa Ana was a separate church, a separate parish. The image was brought here from Valencia, Spain. That's a copy. In 1770. Back then the church was still being built. Santa Ana was still in the marshes near Pago. So in 1720, when the church was completed, the image was transferred. So this is the main facade of the church. The style here is Baroque. There are classical elements, no? But there are more flourishes. And in terms of look, unlike the neoclassicism of Beaux-Arts, you have this other ornamentation. This was actually done during the 1600s as a way of bringing the church to raising the splendor of the church. It was a way of combating the Reformation, the Protestant movements of the time. Okay? Question so far. Who are here first timers here at Santa Ana? So it's an area you don't usually pass to, like Quiapo, Binondo Church. Because Binondo Church, when you buy Opia, for example, in Medyo, it's just there. But other places, like Manila Cathedral, for example. But this one, sasadyain mo siya. So how are you so far? We're actually near the end. We're from here, just go to the area near Plaza Poco, see some of the houses there, and then we'll return to the plaza. Where will we end? Learning?
Yes. Yes.
So we're now behind the church and the area of the Camarin. Right beneath you have the Lady of the Well. If you come here closer later, there's grates. Beneath it is a well. There's actually steps leading down there. It's close to the fountain. That well has been there since the 1700s. And the image of the wall also dates from the 1700s. It was deemed by the people as miraculous. A lawyer from the American Plaza Alderon. So that's the main plaza of Santa Ana. We don't know its old name, Plaza Santa Ana most probably. So this is a picture of the feast in the 1840s. And, no? So there's more to unpack in Manila. Just in one district, there's so much to see. Hence why we have specific tours that focus on Binondo and other areas. But today is actually our last tour one of our last tour for June. This public tour. So I want to give yourself a round of applause. No? You finished this tour. No? We actually also have someone who was there in one of our tours earlier. A lot of them. They're in the LRT tour. So some of the tours to away. There's no date yet, but we are trying to develop a new route for the LRT tour. The LRT tour north. No? So it focuses on some stations north of the Pasig River, like Monumento, Tayuman, and exploring the areas nearby. With that, thank you again. I'm Diego Torres on behalf of Organization Renacimiento Manila. Maraming salamat, thank you, and mabuhay ang Maynila.
Mabuhay.
Thank you.
Thank you, tita.